Alright, this may be one of my top 5 favorite projects that I've ever done. We're going to build what is similar to and inspired by, but definitely not the same as, an Eldar Falcon. Okay, so there's a link in the description of this video below with some templates in it. Use the bigger one and trace and cut out a piece of single corrugated cardboard, and then apply corrugation cladding. Then we take our 1-inch thick polystyrene, also known as insulation, available at your local home improvement store, and cut out a block that is 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters. Then cut a 45-degree taper at both short ends like you see here. And then on the front edge, just chop off a bit, making a small flat area, like this. Hot glue this block to the main body so that the front face is flush with the inner edge, like this. Then take some fine grit sandpaper and round off the edges. In hindsight, I wish I had done this before attaching, it would have been easier. Here's some wooden spools, so just some random bits from the crafting store. Glue 2 of them together, and then attach to the side of the foam block, set pretty far back. Most of it should be hanging off of the main body. Attach another one to the other side as well. Now use the other template and cut out some cereal box cardstock. Dry fit it so that it covers both engines. Hot glue the center down first, making sure that it's centered and straight. And then, with a thin bead of hot glue, attach each end to the main body. Prepare another foam block, this one 5 centimeters long by 4 centimeters wide. Cut 2 tapers along the short sides, one that's very steep and one that's very shallow. Both meet at a point at the top. Smooth the edges with sandpaper. And hot glue it to the tank, set forward basically so the front slope kind of continues down to the lower block. Or, I know, use magnets so that you can swivel it. Yes, I know. Then I took some cereal box and just cut strips to shape and wrapped them around the edge of the wings, just drawing inspiration from the source image a bit here. Same for the canopies, there's some panels on there as well. And now the wraith bones, I just freehanded these on chipboard and cut them out. Since these are really exposed, I wanted them to be strong, so cereal box wasn't going to cut it. I need my go-to chipboard for this. Any extremely heavy cardstock will do though. Cut some ovals and hot glue them on, representing the cockpits. So New Year's happened not too long ago and we had champagne from some cheap disposable flutes. The bases came off of them, and so I kept them, and wouldn't you know it, they're exactly 60 millimeters in diameter. Absolutely perfect for a large, flying, clear round base in Warhammer 40k. So we hot glue the main body to it. I positioned it just based on where it is in the inspirational image. Let's make some weapons, because this thing is loaded to the nines. Inject a drinking straw with hot glue, and set it aside for a while to harden. Then chop some short segments and hot glue them to some beads, which in turn are hot glued to a couple bits of foam board, which is then in turn hot glued to the underside of the main body just below the lower cockpit. These are intended to be linked shotguns. Here's a random bead from my collection. It's got a few gemstones in it, kind of exotic looking. Gonna hot glue a kebab skewer into it and chop it down to about 2 inches, whatever feels right. Then take an empty drinking straw, cut it to half that length, inject it with hot glue, and while it's still hot, insert the skewer. And then maybe another short length of drinking straw with some small bead on the end, attached lengthwise to the main cannon. So this could be some kind of exotic Eldar weapon, I don't know. Anyway, this assembly also gets hot glued to a bit of foam board, which then gets mounted to the underside. And now 3 pieces of kebab skewer, about 2 inches long, grouped together with super glue so that there's no ugly blobs of hot glue spilling out. Wrap one end with paper or very thin cardstock. This will reinforce that triangular shape of the gun barrel. And glue the other end to a bit of polystyrene, which is then glued to the side of the upper turret. This could be the shuriken cannon or something like that. So I know I didn't do the bright lance. Maybe in the future. Truth be told, that's a really distinctive weapon, and I really want to nail it. And since I'm doing a Wraith Lord in the near future, I want them both to look identical, and I'm simply not done yet experimenting with what the best way to make it is. Since I'm going to paint this red, I based the thing in white, except for the bits that'll be metallic, namely the weapons and the engines. So then I base it in red. And then I'm going to dry brush on progressive shades of orange, covering less with each shade to get a crude gradient. I had experimented with wet blending, but these paints are too low in quality to get good results, so I went with this. Then using a toothpick, edge highlight all the edges with plain white. I'm using 2 metallics here for variety, classic gunmetal and my new favorite shimmering silver, which you may have noticed I've been using a lot of lately. It's weird, some shades, even by the same manufacturer, are like water, and some are thick and give great one-coat coverage. It's inconsistent. This shimmering silver has been awesome for me. So I hit my metallics. Just be creative. Here's some costume jewelry from my random box. Gonna use wire cutters and snip a portion of the bracelet out. And attach it to the turret using some super glue. Again, I recommend Loctite Gel Control super glue. And then again, drawing from the inspirational source image, I'm gonna bejewel the hell out of this thing. It is an alien craft after all. Lastly, I prepared some transfers, exactly described in episode 9, except that these are only one-sided, and I attached them with plain old glue stick. One on the front, one on the back. So quite happy with this. Again, this is for home play. You wouldn't take this to a tournament or anything formal, but good enough for counts as. There you can see the rough gradient effect. Hoping to buy an airbrush soon and experiment with that, but till then, this will have to do. Really lucked out on the base. I wish I could remember the brand, but I don't. Again, champagne glasses, disposable ones, and the bottom comes off. Yeah, lucked out with this bracelet too. I really like that little piece. And here we are, we have a Maw Core and some Carnifexes and some Hormagaunts coming across a winter field. There's the Toxic spills from episode 57. Anyway, they're coming up on the power station from episode 59 to a group of Eldar. And there's some Rangers up on the high ground, and here is the Falcon. So it's an imposing presence on the battlefield compared to these little guys. So, eye catcher. Very fun. I am Wylock, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.